Hello, all. Welcome to How's Your ePresence? This is our special holiday edition of How's Your ePresence, which means we're going to talk a little bit about maybe get some social stuff that we that happened this year. We'll get into things that are going to happen in 2022, but we are glad you are here. This show is produced by ePresence, and I am Mark Galvin, your host. We always love it that you're here because we're always trying to find content to help you do something maybe a little better. Um, we want to help people get their marketing more effective, and we create a great library over this year. I wish I knew the number, but we had a lot of great shows this year, and just some of the ones that we recently dropped. We spoke to Lori Thomas Ross of Web Marketing Therapy recently about how to revolutionize your marketing approach. That was a very spirited conversation. So I do recommend that you take a look at that because Lori does have some really smart ideas and ways of attacking marketing. Before that, we talked about how to optimize LinkedIn at every level with Daniel Alfon. We also had a conversation with Terry Warren on how to make choices for a positive change in your business space. I got a whole list of stuff that we've done this year that are really cool. This is something we had a conversation with Gordon Van Weckel, and I recommend this one of Alchemy Consulting on how to market local businesses with Google. There's another thing that I recommend you go take a look at, and it was where we spoke to Ryan Williams with Web Suasion Group. He shared how to use pixels in your advertising. And one of my favorite, one more great one to mention, Broncar Lee of Spread the Good Stuff. The guy wears a t-shirt that says Spread the Good Stuff. He came and talked to us on how music can make a more successful business person. Lots of great information out there. Go check out our library, our how-to library, and you'll find something there that I'm sure can help you do something a little better in 2022. Our shows are always live. We run them live on, looking at my list, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. And it's great that we recently added Twitter. We're typically running those shows on Tuesdays or Thursdays. If you're tuning in live, send us a question. We would love to answer that question live. Today is going to be a show that's just me. So you can send me a question if there's something I'm talking about, because we're going to get into ways that you can do a little better with your digital marketing in 2022. And that may create a question or two. So we'd love for you to throw those at us. Or if you're watching, you don't have a question, tell us where you're watching from. Let us know where you're joining us. We always like to hear where people are coming from. Whatever the case is, we would love for you to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button there at the bottom of the screen, because if you subscribe, you'll get a notification when we go live. You can pop in, watch the show, ask a question, just put it in the background if you want, and you can join us there. So, as I mentioned, we're going to talk about what is going on in really the digital space and some of the things that you can expect in 2022. There's a lot of interesting things that are going to happen in 22. One of the things that we're anticipating is an even larger migration to the digital space. Here we are at, come what, February, would have been dealing with COVID for 2 years. COVID for 2 years. It is hard to believe that this thing's been around that long and impacting us that way. And there have been a ton of changes that have happened. And I don't need to highlight them all because we've all experienced them. But because of those things, we are figuring out how to stay connected online better than ever. We have overcome some of those obstacles that we never thought we would. And in 22, I can guarantee you, we're still going to be doing more and more online than ever before. You'll all probably talk to the people, especially in the commercial real estate space, how companies are reconfiguring their space. And companies need people in the office. Let's be honest. It is good to have an interface, an interaction with people. You get 3, 4, 5 people in the same room together, they can be creative and come up with new ideas or handle challenges in a much more effective way than you could if you were online. I can see, for example, in an in-person meeting, who's paying attention and who's not, right? And you can reel those people in by engaging them in a positive way. So in person is important. Companies are trying to figure out how can they create an in-person workspace that's both safe and cost effective, because let's be honest, you don't want a seat for every single person in the office. You need a seat for a part of the office at a time. So maybe you have half as many seats in the office as you did before. And what do those seats look like? Right now, it used to be we were getting rid of the barriers, right? There used to be, let's get rid of cubicles. We'll just have people sitting at tables. Well, that's a problem. Now you have to have barriers up to make sure that people aren't transmitting things. Whatever the case, all those things are going to continue. But one of the challenges that this presents, there's been some companies, and there's a part of our economy that hasn't bounced back. And there are companies that are going to try to figure out how they can recoup losses that they've been experiencing through COVID. And one of the ways they're going to do that is they're going to have to use those digital channels. We are all online more than ever. So why not find your audience right online? So one of the ways that'll happen is live social shopping streams. Live social shopping streams. How did I put that together? I'm not quite sure. But here's how this works. We're going to see shows popping up on our social where people are presenting products. And much like we've seen those shopping channels on cable, those things were on cable TV ages ago. Now you'll be able to watch on your computer in live time, in real time, buy that product. And those shows are going to grow and grow over time, and it's called social commerce. Pinterest and Twitter have already jumped in that space, and I do think that Pinterest is a smart group for getting into that. So look for that. We're expecting, the analysts have said that that market's going to be a $600 billion market by 2027. That's amazing. So look for that. You heard it here first. If you have not heard about social commerce before, that's going to be a big impact starting in 2022. The other thing that you're going to see in 22 is we're finding that more and more companies have to figure out a way to stay connected. I know here at ePresence, we use Teams constantly. We have our meetings on Teams. If somebody on my staff or at ePresence needs help with something, they send me a note and we instantaneously jump on Teams. We can share screens. We do phone calls. I've had a phone call over my phone in the car through Teams. I'm sure a lot of you have experienced the same sort of thing. If you think about it, it may be old hat. That didn't happen 2 years ago. So we are getting more and more used to those spaces. But how does social media complement the interconnectedness of our teams? Right? Think about that. If social can help build alliances through your team, since they're not in person and they can't meet at the quote unquote water cooler to talk about last night's football game or who was on The Bachelor last night or whatever happens on The Bachelor. I actually don't watch The Bachelor. My kids watch it and I have to, I keep up on it through them. But there's a lot of interesting conversations that can come from that. How are we going to make sure that we have the ability to let our staff stay connected, yet let them be at home if they want? So look for new creative ways where social will help motivate and connect online teams. Something else that we're expecting in 2022 are QR codes, right? What? QR codes? Yeah, do you remember at the beginning of the pandemic, people did not know that they could pick up their iPhone, point the camera at a QR code, and up would show up a website. That certainly has changed. I think all of you, if you're watching this and you're watching this online, I'll guarantee you all of you have used your phone to scan a QR code. What is the deal with this? What can you do with this? Have you started to think about that? I'll give you an example of something that I really like. I stream my television today. If I'm connecting to a new streaming service, they put the QR code on the screen. I scan it with my phone. I punch in a code and boom, it shows up on the screen. How can you use a QR code to better optimize the reach of your team? Here's one of the things I'd like for you to think about. Have a special using a QR code. If you put a QR code on your, say, a special offer page or even your homepage of your website, and you're trying to sell something, you could put that on there and say, scan this code and we'll offer you a discount or we'll send you a free something, whatever works. And through that portal, you could ask those folks to provide you information to jump on your mailing list, your email list, your follow your page. Here's a good example. Put a QR code for your Facebook page and let them know if they follow your page from that QR code, then they'll get a special offer. Now, do I know that you can have a link on your website? Yes, but because QR codes are popular, some people just scan them. So offer that as an option. Throw it on your website. Let's see what happens with it. But you are going to find QR codes become more and more popular. I look forward, frankly, to QR codes showing up on my bill from a restaurant so I can scan it and just pay right from my QR code right through my phone using Venmo or whatever online system that you use. If you are a nonprofit and you're always looking to raise money and not using QR codes, you're missing an opportunity. So let's say you have a business where people are a nonprofit where people are walking in and out of your business. I hope that you have a QR code at the exit so that if somebody can wants to donate, they can do that. Or maybe work with your partners. We've all been at different businesses when we're going to check out, and the checkout clerk will ask you if you would like to give money to something as you start to pay. I really think that that's I have a problem with that. Here's why. I'm standing there with my credit card in my hand and they say, "Hey, would you like to give money to something?" And I think, okay, this is it's awkward. You're forcing this social pressure thing, right? I'm looking at someone, they're asking me if I would like to give money to this organization in my city that helps out homeless people or helps out some, and and for some reason I just don't want to. I think that social pressure is just uncalled for. Here's the thing that I think would be great. Put that QR code on the way out the door and have a little sign that says, "Hey, would you like to give to this?" And it's up to me and I don't feel pressure and maybe I don't want anybody to know that I'm giving to that cause for whatever reason. I could scan that and not have the eyes on me. So, lots of ways to use QR codes. I do think it's very interesting that how they've exploded in popularity through the coronavirus. Every time I go to a restaurant through the middle of the epidemic, the pandemic, I should say, all those restaurants had their QR codes for their menus. I thought that was awesome. It was very cool. So in 2021, Facebook had 2.9 billion active users. They are still dwarfing all the other social media programs or systems out there. But they also are losing connection with their audiences. Look for Facebook to find ways to re-engage that younger audience, and I think VR, virtual reality, is something that Facebook is heavily invested in. That is the way that I think they're going to connect with young people who really like that technology. And if they can drive them to Facebook, you'll see that happening more and more. But something else that Facebook's doing, and we've talked a little bit about this already, is they're going to start growing their e-commerce platforms. The e-commerce platforms in this case are going to be ways that you can buy right on Facebook. So you can actually conduct a purchase right through your feed. You've seen this already. It's going to only become more and more profound. And the reason is because it's easy to reach your target audience through Facebook. And if I can reach my target audience through Facebook, then why don't I just ask them to buy right then and there? click here and buy this. So Facebook is working hard and has launched some things already to make that easier. Instagram is doing that as well. So Instagram Shops allows you to buy things right through the app. Here's what's interesting about Instagram. They're about 50% of Facebook's revenue right now. Now, Facebook is actually larger with users, but as a revenue number, Instagram is right at par with Facebook. It does seem smart that Facebook bought Instagram all those years ago now, right? But anyway, uh, Facebook has Instagram Shops, and Morgan, our producer, has used these. Are you there, Morgan? Can I beg you to kick your microphone on? Or maybe she's not there. All right, we'll let her come back. Oh, there she is.
Here.
So Morgan, how tell us a little bit about Instagram Shops. How does that work?
I know, for me personally, they will come up with brands I already follow. And like you said, they can have a static post in the feed and almost like how you can tag another account, right? And it'll show like a little button. There's like a shop button. So
Did
they
you
can,
say button? Is there
yeah,
a T in that word?
a button.
A button. Oh, that. I know what a button is, not a button.
A button. Um,
I give her a hard time about that all the time. It's really funny. She gives me a hard time about the day of the week, Tuesday. I
Tuesday.
say Tuesday. She says Tuesday. So this is fun banter. Anyway, go ahead.
So there is a button, and some brands will just do like one product in a post, but I know a lot of like apparel brands will post an entire outfit and tag each product. And you
Oh,
can click
cool.
it, it pops up with the name of the product. I've never done it before, because I feel like if I start, I probably would not stop. And maybe that's the appeal of it, right? For
Sure.
Instagram. But it's just a couple clicks and it's on its way. And you
That
can
is really cool.
there is an option to save your credit card, mailing, billing, all that. So if you set it all up at the beginning, it really is like super easy.
And the brilliance of this is it's as obvious as the nose on our faces that it makes better sense to say, all right, if you want to buy this, it's a one click and you're in the portal to buy
Yeah.
versus what used to be is you had to click an ad, it would take you to somebody's website, and then you had to start the process of buying that. So it was multi-step. This is shortening the buying cycle. I just think it's brilliant. Are you worried at all about safety or security when you're doing that, or does it feel seamless?
I mean, in terms of like any other online shopping, right?
Yeah,
I would venture to say it's as dangerous or safe wherever you kind of land on that um spectrum in terms of like your
right.
credit card information, and then the rest, like mailing address. I kind of feel like everybody already knows it. If somebody wanted to find it, me buying something through Instagram is not going to be like the make or break.
That's a great point. I think that's a very good point. And one of the things that I was really surprised that didn't really take hold or take on well was credit card companies were willing to give you a one-time credit card number for purchases online, which would protect your identity and protect your credit card number. But since the security of credit cards have changed somewhat dramatically over the short term, is people I guess aren't as worried about that. Well,
Yeah,
that's really cool. Well, I do appreciate you. This is the first time you've been on How's Your e-presence, is it?
I think it is.
Oh my goodness, I love that. It took a long time for us to tap you on the shoulder and ask you to join us. Well, don't go far. I may have something else that we pull you on. I have no idea. That's not totally unplanned, but so don't go far. Does that sound good?
Alrighty.
All right, cool. Here's something else that's going to happen in 22. You're going to see. Well, let me rephrase this. Something that you need to do is this is on the to-do list for 22, and that is generate more user-generated content. You'll also oftentimes hear this called UGC. Now, what does that mean? Let's say you sell coffee cups, right? And you're trying to get more of these out there and sell these to as many people as possible. All right. One of the ways that you can use social is you could get that product into a target's hands and have them share on social that you're selling a coffee cup. How do you do that? Put some staff members on the on social media and have them go search for people that are in the target audience for you. Now, this is not using the ad system. This is just basic analog kind of work. You just put a staff member on a computer keyboard and have them go out and look on social to see if they can find people that are good targets for them. And, one of the things you would do is you'd make sure that they're active. They got a lot of connections, right? Almost like an influencer, but more micro influencers are the folks that you would target. Send them a coffee cup and say, hey, well, let me rephrase that. Tap them and say, I would like to send you a coffee cup to see if you like it. And if you do, would you share it on your social media? And if you share it on your social, then we'll send you another one or we'll enhance it with something else. What you're doing is you're sending it directly to person. I'm going to tell you, anybody that's just you just reach out to cold turkey and say, I'm going to give you something for nothing. They're probably going to like that idea, right? Why not? And the risk is on you that they'll actually like the product, and it's a really kind gesture, right? And that's the way you could see it. So if someone called me or sent me a message and I've got a lot of connections on LinkedIn, so they sent me a note on LinkedIn, said, "Hey, we're going to share a pen with you, and if you," that's kind of boring, a pen, isn't it? We're going to share a wireless microphone with you, and if you like it, we'd like for you to show up on social and share your experience with that. I would absolutely take that microphone. I would give it a try. If I liked it, I would 100% go into my social media and share on that. The trick is you should require them for them to get the next gimme, right? The next free thing. Okay, I'm going to send you a second cup. Maybe it'll be a smaller one, or maybe it'll be a larger, or different style. And the microphone could be okay. Now that we sent you the microphone, we're going to send you a stand for the microphone. There's ways that you could play this depending on the product. But the only way I qualify for this is to tag the company and put the right hashtags on it. As long as I do those things, I qualify for the next stage of call it a promotion. And it's a way to build micro influencers to share content about your product. And the endorsement is genuine, right? So think about this. We have heard people endorse products and we always wonder if they've ever even used the product. You see an actor or you see an actor that's endorsing a car. Like, do they really have that car? Did they really buy it? Was it given to them? They probably, they're well. If someone has a product that they like, you send it to them like, I really like this. They are very apt to say something that is genuine and maybe even something you never thought about before. Now you're not paying them, you're just simply sharing your products with them. It's a really smart way to build some weight on social media. Here's some interesting data points that go with that. 82% of people follow digital influencers rather than personalities or famous people. And that's why, and I think part of that is some of these famous people are getting paid so much money, it becomes difficult to really connect with them. Well, micro influencers are easier to connect with. Deloitte, which is a consulting firm out there, shared that the active participation of consumers in the brand's channels can bring benefits such as growth in the engagement of about 30%. So you'll be able to see a 30% increase just in engagement if you were to get some user generated content. So for 2022, make it a point. Figure out a way that you can get some user generated content. The other thing I think that we're going to see in the future, and this is not going to be just in 2022, it's going to be the social media channels are going to be looking for ways to generate more revenue. And the, I think that they're going to start charging. I think that there's going to be a pay to play model that starts to creep into into social. Now, You may say, gosh, why would I pay for that? The reason that you pay for it is because there's value there. I'll give you an example. Let's say I offer well, not I. Let's say Facebook offers you a package on Facebook to join a group of say 100 people, and those 100 people are guaranteed to be able to be in a room with a famous person, right? Name the famous person that you're interested in, that you think about all the time. Maybe you read their content all the time. Maybe it's an op-ed writer, or maybe it's a politician, or maybe it's a sports person, or maybe it's a famous actor, or you name it, right? Think about that. Get that avatar in your mind. Would you pay $100 a year to be in a room with them once a month, to chat with them, to ask them their opinion, to have a one-on-one with them? Maybe it's a video with just them. You can see the value there. How can the social platforms offer something that you think will be valuable? That's going to happen more and more often. And you do remember, the pay model is already there. You can pay right now on LinkedIn. How many of you, and this happens all the time in my LinkedIn training, people ask all the time, should I pay for LinkedIn? Everybody knows it's there, and it's one of the ways that LinkedIn is probably a standout from the others. So look for that. I think that you're going to see some sort of subscription model coming up. This is something else I think is really key to the success of social, and we're going to wrap up with this one last topic. Algorithms are going to change. They're changing right now, and we don't even know it. We don't see it all the time, but do expect the algorithms to change. And here's the goal: they want you to stay on the platform. These types of changes can be good. They'll change your experience and make it more fruitful for you. I mean, here's what's amazing. I'm not sure if any of you have ever picked up TikTok and started flipping through TikTok. It is 100% engaging. It's mesmerizing in some way because it is so entertaining. Reels on Instagram, which is by far one of the most underutilized spaces there is on social right now, and growing like crazy. So look at Reels. If you want to advertise, you'll reach some people there that nobody else is playing, but you got to have a video to be in that space. That said, it is extremely engaging. So look at social media to find ways to engage better. And when that happens, it may change the way you market on those channels. So you may have to look at marketing to your audience in a new way that you'll find will be very interesting, I think, and you'll see some success there. There are some great tips that are on my notes here, and maybe I'll put this in the show notes about some quick tricks on ways to build an audience on Instagram. It is I saw some great information that came out of Courtney Tarrant with the adgirls.com was sharing that. And I think that that's really interesting. Maybe I'll reach out to her, see if she'll join me for a podcast. That's actually a better idea. That's what I'll do. Well, with that, thank you for joining us here on How's Your ePresence. This show is produced by ePresence. We're a full-service social media agency. We help individuals, companies get online, stay online. We help with consulting. We offer training. Lots of great stuff out there. If you would like to see some of the stuff that we offer and would like to take advantage of a discount, we have a special link. It's right there on the screen, e-pr.me/listener. And e-pr is short for ePresence. e-pr.me/listener. Go there. We'll give you a 5% discount on all of our services. We are everywhere on How's Your ePresence. We are on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. Wherever you are, hit that subscribe button. If you subscribe, you get to find out when we're online. You can ask us a question. Oh, look at here. We have somebody visiting. Celeste, thank you for joining us here. We appreciate you popping in and saying hello. Help you have a wonderful holiday season. If you subscribe, you could join us just like Celeste and get a little piece of the show. So hit that subscribe button from wherever you are. Follow us on Facebook. Twitter, or LinkedIn. Are you a podcast listener? Do you like podcasts? I love me some podcasts. Well, we are also on all those podcast channels. If you go to our website, which is epresence.me/podcast, there it is, epresence.me/podcast. You can find all the places that we are on all those podcast channels, and it's practically every single one. I'll tell you what, if you see one that we're not on, let us know. I'll get on there too. Let's see. And then finally, I've already mentioned the website numbers of times. Our website is epresence.me. That's epresence.me because it's all about you. Leave that up on the screen, Morgan. If you're looking at the screen, notice there's our website. Well, if you get rid of the dot, that is our handle on all social media channels. So if you're on Facebook and you go Facebook/epresenceme, you'll find us. If you're on Twitter, epresenceme, we're there too. Every place there is, every social media channel. If you go to ePresence.me, you'll find us. TikTok. We are on TikTok at ePresence.me. Morgan grabbed that the other day. She was so excited, and I am so thankful because I don't do enough on TikTok. Oh, I dropped my first TikTok a little while ago with Morgan's help. I didn't love it. I didn't think I was really that great. Frankly, we got to practice on that. I'm a little off. I used to be a decent dancer when I was young. Got to work on getting on time with my TikTok videos. Well, anyway, this show, this one, ePresence or How's Your ePresence, is produced by Morgan Wood. She is our producer. She is a writer. She's a social media extraordinaire. Morgan, thank you so much for your being the best producer in all of producery, and happy holidays to you. Until next time, I am Mark Galvin. Thank you for joining us here on How's Your ePresence.